Christy, are you ready?
We are ready.
Excellent. What we thought we'd have fun doing today is going through some of the concepts that we've been learning about in the basic training that you gave us. And we'd like to start with the first one, which is who you truly are is a magnificent, eternal, and a limitless being of pure positive love and acceptance.
Yes, this is certainly a concept that you and Christy believed would be one of the more difficult things for those beginning this process to understand. And in that, we would agree that this idea that you are a magnificent and limitless being of pure positive love and acceptance is something inherently you do not believe. It is perfect that you do not believe it, whether this is a firmly held belief or just simply a doubt. We understand that from your perspective, this is a challenge to even begin to believe it is possible. But this is where the perspective shift begins. This is where the largest perspective shift, the most notable perspective shift begins. This is why we suggest that this topic is the first that is understood and studied. This moment where, from your human perspective, this feeling that things are out of your control and happening to you and chaotic and random, and believing this for whatever period of time you have been on this earth to believe it. You have come in knowing that you would forget this. This moment where you begin to just acknowledge the idea that this is possible. Is it possible that I am eternal? Is it possible that I am an aspect of this God, this source energy? Is it possible that I am love, that I am not these bad things that I believe that I am? Is it possible that I am everything? Is it possible that I am nothing? This moment where human consciousness begins to simply acknowledge that this idea is a possibility, not for others, but for them, for them. This idea is possible for me. This shift in perspective is magnificent. It is a long-range shift. This is the one that is necessary to begin understanding anything else about how this universe works and this mechanism of physical reality. This idea, this understanding is all of it. And from your perspective, it is the fullness of who you truly are. If you were to understand that now, if you were to know that now, then there would be no need for you to be here. There would be no need for you to continue in physical reality. This acknowledgement that this is a possibility for me is the beginning of this journey to discover who you are by discovering who you are. You spend much time discovering who you are and expanding, and this is known and appreciated, but you do this in fear and in feeling that you must control and keep these things from happening to you. And this is discovering who you are, most certainly, but it is doing that by discovering what you are not, just as if you live in homes or in cities or drive cars that you do not like, that you do not prefer, and you do this so that you can learn what you do like. This is the similar concept. This is discovering all of the limitation, all of the things that you are not, to then understand who you are. It is not necessary to experience this journey in this way. And this moment of acknowledging this idea that this is possible for me, that I am an aspect of source, that I am limitless and magnificent, that I am love, and I am the creator. Just this moment of believing that this is possible is all that is needed.
Excellent. Does anyone have a question in this subject that they have thought about before?
I have a question for White Light.
Yes,
Thanks.
Rashna?
So yesterday I had a good manifestation event, and it was my birthday, and my sister and her family came over. We had a really great time. And I was writing it out on my manifestation form. And my belief that I came up with is my birthday is a joyous day, worthy of celebration. But then when it came to writing out, how do you prove that true? I was stumped. I don't know how to prove it true. I just felt like in the knowing that it's a joyous, worthy day is in itself the proof.
Your understanding that it is a joyous, worthy day is certainly enough proof, but you can begin to work backwards from here and believe that this day that I entered physical reality, this day that I became a match to this planet, to these people that I love, this day that I began an experience of learning more about who I truly am, of discovering these wonderful things about me that are magnificent, that are powerful, that are limitless. This day that I became a match to this, these are the things to celebrate. These people in your life that you love, these beautiful things that you see, the world that you live in, the place that you live, the home that you live in, everything that is around you. On that day, you became a match to beginning this journey to discover all of this, which is a reflection of you. Do you understand?
Yeah. So, well, okay. So specifically, you talked about the date I was born in and the good that came out of that. But what about yesterday specifically? Like,
Why is this day a day for you to celebrate? Why is this joyous? This is a reminder. This is something that we refer to as ritual. Ritual is something that can be important in the human experience because it is a centering, it is a grounding, it is a reminder, it is a moment to stop and review, to stop and go inside and experience this moment in a new way, to celebrate your birthday, day, long day, night, this moment to celebrate this experience, to celebrate this time that you became a match to begin this journey is simply a ritual of reminding yourself and reminding those around you of who you are and why you are here. This is why it feels so good to you, because you are reminded each year on that day, on that night, that this is worth everything to me. This journey of self-discovery, this day, this moment that I chose from non-physical reality to come to explore, to do this brave thing that I am doing. It is acknowledged and celebrated in the non-physical in ways you cannot imagine. Those that support you and guide you are celebrating this moment with you. This is worthy of celebration year after year after year.
how do they celebrate in the non-physical?
They celebrate by focusing. We are focused in the non-physical by putting our attention on you, by sending you joy and love and understanding, by lighting your path, by sending you this emotion of joy and freedom that you were feeling, this emotion letting you know that you are sharing our perspective and the perspective of your inner self. This is of great interest and great excitement and curiosity. This is a wonderful thing. And in these moments where you feel your connection, this is celebrated in ways that you cannot understand. It is a reverberation of energy throughout all of non-physical, throughout the universe. This moment, this important focus that is Reshna, that in any moment sees the joy, recognizes her freedom, recognizes her power and her limitlessness, recognizes her value. This moment is the moment for us. It is all of it. It is why we love you. This moment means everything to us. It is all that expands all of us. Do you understand this? Can you feel this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do understand what you said. So I have a curiosity, like I was cracking jokes and then I was laughing at my own jokes. Was that the non-physical pushing me into the direction of more laughter? Was that them? Because I was cracking up a lot.
It is always them. It is always us. We are you. We are connected. We are always a part of you, your inner self, your guides, your supporters, us. We are all together. In any moment that you feel any idea that brings you joy, that brings you laughter, you are being led. You are following that which you are being led. We are one.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, here's day 2. You are a limitless being experiencing a reality that is designed to bring you everything you truly want. All limitations are self-imposed and are simply illusions.
This statement is the truth of this reality. You are here experiencing this entire system of physical reality that is set up by you and for you so that you can discover who you truly are. This idea that you would design anything less than what is perfect for you to experience on this path is not possible. You would not do this. You have begun to understand that your role in this is that you created this path, this life for yourself from the perspective of non-physical. We have explained to Christy and to Gary and to some of you that this consciousness that is you, that has experienced many lives, is now you, and you have become the most expanded version of this consciousness. That is us, that has begun this lineage to explore. As that consciousness, that is you. You, from your non-physical perspective, designed this path, you designed this life to be exactly what you need, what you want to experience, to discover who you truly are in whatever way you have designed to do this. But you also knew from that perspective that you would forget who you are. You would not remember. And you designed things for yourself along the way that would possibly remind you these things that have brought you here, have brought you together in this group that is magnificent. This is a group of superstars. This is a group of magnificent explorers who have done this many times and are wanting to be here now to learn what is truly happening, to understand who you truly are within what is truly going on in this mechanism of physical reality. And this is why we are here, to explain this to you. You do not understand from your perspective that you would create such an elaborate game. But if you can begin to understand that everything is physical, and non-physical, and what you see in this reality is simply non-physical energy that is communicating in a way to form a reality that you believe, that you reflect from the inside out. These things are illusions. They are simply a reflection of this perspective that you hold, and this is what you have designed for yourself. You are limitless, and you designed this from that limitless perspective, but you are experiencing it from a limited human perspective. This is all that is happening. This illusion of limitation, this illusion that there is a screen, that there is a light, that there is a car, that there is a table. This is all an illusion. It is equal to the illusion that you have limits, that there is anything that you cannot be, do, or have. When you understand that you set this up for yourself, and your perspective, your vibration that is inside now, you are seeing, and it is only there in the moment to show you so that you can discover more of who you are, to see where you are limiting yourself. You are the only one. When you raise this vibration and you raise this perspective, you will see reflected out exactly that. It is all an illusion, and you are generating this illusion with your perspective.
Does anyone have a question about this topic? Does it seem like maybe the system is not set up to give you everything you want? Okay, great. So the next topic that we're going to discuss is there are two aspects of you, a physically focused you and a non-physically focused you. How do these two aspects work?
We will go back to the previous statement that when you decided to enter this physical reality, to play this game, you did this from the limitless perspective of you, and you knew that you would forget who you are. And what you can begin to acknowledge and understand here is that you are always feeling. There is something that you are always feeling. In understanding this, this would lead you to understand that there must be some greater part of you that is showing you, giving you these feelings. But what would they be, and why would they be? This greater part of you, this consciousness that is you, that has expanded in life after life after life, of which you are the most expanded version. This part of you, this bigger part of you, is focused in the non-physical. It is all one space. It is all together. There is no separation between physical and non-physical. What you see in front of you, the illusion, is non-physical energy. But this larger part of you that we refer to as your inner self, this is the bigger part of you. This part is looking at your life and knowing that you planned every moment of this, that you planned every experience, and that your power in this life as the physically focused, conscious you is in how you see it. And so this bigger part of you is holding focus on the perspective that is us, on the perspective that is all of us in non-physical, which is that this is perfect. This is the perfect life for you. This is the perfect experience for you. You are limitless. Nothing is happening to you. This has been laid out in front of you for you. This is the perspective that we hold, and that you are brave and powerful and strong and intelligent, and you are everything. And that these situations, these experiences, these people that come to you do this for you. These people that bring you wonderful things, and people that bring you things that you perceive as not so wonderful. they have lived their entire life to bring this to you in this one moment, for you to see the reflection of your perspective, to show you where you are limiting yourself, to show you a fear that will light up a belief that is limiting you from where you want to go, where you decided to go. This situation, this person, every single moment that they have lived, everything it took to create this situation to happen for you in that moment is done for you and your inner self. This greater part of you that you are asking about now is holding this perspective. The further away your perspective is from that of who you truly are, your inner self, the more that you may feel uncomfortable. You may recognize a bit of pain, even despair and hopelessness, or simply boredom. This is all to let you know that your perspective is a bit askew. Your perspective is just not where we are. Your perspective is not that of your inner self. This is the connection. Your inner self is speaking to you all the time. Your inner self is you. This idea that it sounds like your own thought. Of course it does. It is you. It is you guiding you. You in connection with millions and millions and millions of others who are interested in watching what you do. You are the greatest show around to watch. This is that connection, and it is you. It can never leave you. It is who you are.
Can you explain the different ways that your inner self, the one's inner self, guides them?
The inner self will guide in any way that it will be heard. It will be guiding, of course, with the feeling of emotion, with the understanding of how far away you are in your perspective, will guide in thought, will guide in vision, in manifestation, will guide in speaking through others, through friends, through coworkers, through media, will guide through thought. This inspiration is always given from one's inner self to the inner self of another to place something in a certain way, and that inspiration is then placed through your inner self to you to look here, to look there. It is impulse, it is thought, it is emotion, it is in whatever way it will be heard and recognized by you.
Will one's inner self ever directly tell them what to do?
One's inner self is always telling them directly what to do. This filter that is doubt and not recognizing the inspiration to take a trip to Paris is how this inspiration is heard. The direction could very well be call a friend who just returned from Paris. But these ways that the doubt and the fear come into play, and the way that the human individual consciousness through experience, calling upon memory and past fear and current fear, will hear this, the ideas that there is some ideal for which to strive, will cause this inspiration, this thought to be a bit warbled, if you will. But the inner self is always telling one exactly what to do.
Awesome. Does anyone have a question regarding this or any other topic?
Yeah, I do. So I understand that you forget who you really are in your previous lives so that you can experience this life. But there are some of us who do remember our previous life or have gone under hypnosis and recall their previous life. is that by divine design from the inner self, or is that a hiccup in the system where they remember it, but they're not supposed to? Or is it their inner self told them to go under hypnosis and to remember? So is that part of the bigger plan when that happens?
It is always perfect. There are no hiccups in the system. There is no experience that you could have that you were not meant to have. The power for you and for everyone is in how you see it. This memory of a past life is something that from a non-physical perspective can be determined, that at a particular moment it would be beneficial here to remember this. There are many that decide from a non-physical perspective to not remember anything from a past life, not one. Others who choose to have one memory from one past life because it will set them on the trajectory that they desire. This is all. This is unique to the consciousness, and the perspective on it is also unique to the consciousness. Do you understand?
All right. Anyone else?
Yes, when we're processing limiting beliefs and strong emotions are coming up, what's the consequence of those emotions? Is that a singular release, or does that have consequences in the sense that it attracts more to it, more of the same?
This idea that we are always feeling something, and then learning in a moment on this journey that our feelings, how we feel, is creating our future. This is a bit disheartening to many of you, and it is simply not true. In the moment that you are processing a belief, you are looking at something that is limiting you, and you are understanding it. Your memories of the thoughts, of possibly the experiences, these things that led you to attract this belief, attract this initial thought, and then continue to think this thought over and over and over, and then attract experiences that are showing you this thought and showing you this limitation. This moment of memory and feeling this emotion has no consequence to your future. What is going to happen is going to happen, Sylvia. Your power is in how you see it. In this moment of feeling this negative emotion, rather than imagining that this negative emotion that you are feeling is generating future experiences for you that you will not like, the perspective you could have on this is that you are feeling and you are recognizing and you have discovered something that has been with you for quite some time that has been limiting you. And as you move through this feeling, looking at the perspective that is far different than that of your inner self, than that of us, you recognize what is happening, that you are moving through this limitation and you are dismantling this belief structure that has held you back, in a sense, from experiencing this life in joy, in freedom, in curiosity. This knowledge that you are moving through this, feeling this negative emotion, can allow you the freedom to feel it and know that there is nothing that is going to come to you because you are feeling this emotion. This is simply your perspective. And in any moment that you move this perspective slightly higher and slightly higher, that this negative emotion will simply fall away. You can allow it to be. You are perfect in this moment. And this negative emotion that you are feeling is perfect for you to feel, to understand, and to eventually recognize that it wasn't anything. This fear was nothing compared to the power of you. This fear is an illusion. You are love. You are the truth. Do you understand?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
White Light, I have a question about the inner self. When we talk about the self and the inner self, where do the guides come into this? Are they all part of the same inner self in a different aspect? Can you explain that more?
From your perspective, we understand that this is difficult to grasp, to acknowledge the oneness and yet see it separately. But as we explain this to you, we will explain it in a way that it is beneficial for you to understand, to see it in a way that for you, for Emma, it will help you to make this connection and go on this path joyfully to understanding who you are. You have this inner self that is Emma, this greater part of you that is focused in non-physical and not looking through these goggles that you are looking through to play this game. Then before you came into physical reality, your consciousness, with the help of others, chose specifically guides and supporters who would be with you, many of them for the entirety of this life experience. Many of them would come in and out as you approached segments of this experience to help you, because you knew you would forget who you were. And these would come in and step forward and assist you in an area, light something up for you, and then would step back. And many would simply be just on the periphery of you, always interested, always watching, but not particularly forward in leading you through these moments. Then you also have these parts of your soul family that have incarnated with you in this physical reality and have left this physical reality in a sense and are just standing beside you in the non-physical and are also part of this guide and support. They are speaking with your inner self, which is speaking with you. It is done in many ways, speaking through a friend, speaking through someone else, directly to you in your meditation as you are walking around, speaking through your inner self to you. This is all happening all the time. You are magnificent. You are interesting. You are the best thing there is to watch. You are it. And whatever way the communication can be heard by you, everyone in the non-physical is trying to get it to you. It is part of the agreement. It is part of the plan. And it is the only thing that those that support you and love you want to do. This is it. Does this help you to see it?
Yes, thank you.
May I ask a question? We have the saying, heaven on earth. Heaven is on earth, or the kingdom of heaven is on earth. And I, in my mind, I think of like a split reality of this, Robin Williams movie where, at the end, the landscape, everything is like a painting. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then there's reality of what we see every day. And I'm wondering, as humans, must we transition in order to experience heaven on earth fully?
Absolutely not. This is part of this experience. We will acknowledge that to achieve the perspective of your inner self, to achieve the perspective of source, is something that is a bit elusive to you and is maybe from your perspective not possible, but it is possible. It is possible to, in a moment, see that you are God, to see, Andrea, that your friend is God. It is simply challenging to hold this perspective. That is all. You can achieve this perspective right here. And this essentially is the design. Just as in a sport, every play in the offense is designed to score, but you have the element of the defense that comes into play. You have the element of this illusion. Every experience that you have designed for yourself is there to show you who you truly are in that moment, all at once. Each one is designed to get you all the way there. Yet, you have the element of the illusion. And as you move through, you gather limiting beliefs and ideas about yourself and about your world and about the others that you love and that love you. And with each experience, you gain some understanding of who you are and mostly an understanding of who you are not. And this is fine. This moving through it as you specifically like to do is to do it right. Am I doing it right? And we will say to you that you are, and you can achieve that heaven on earth in a moment, and you can hold it. You have a history of time, of operating from a certain perspective, and that becomes the habit. That becomes the weight that you are used to lifting. When you gather yourself and you reach a much higher perspective, this is as if you are holding up a lot more weight. And this perspective tends to drop back to the old perspective easily. And as you practice and you hold it a bit longer and you hold it a bit longer, then this becomes your new set point of view, this new perspective. And then from there, you can move to a higher perspective. As you move to these higher and higher perspectives, it gets easier to hold the new perspective. The time at the lower perspective is much shorter. This experience of time, this moving to the higher perspective, then the drop back to the old perspective is not as easy, does not happen as easily, as readily, because this perspective has not been held quite as long as the original perspective on yourself. Do you understand this? This is how you can achieve that understanding of heaven on earth, moment by moment. When you feel it, recognize it, acknowledge it, and say, this is heaven on earth. This is right. This is doing it right. And you will more and more be able to catch that perspective and hold it.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the next one, which is perfect here. Essentially, there are two states of being. They are love and acceptance or fear and control. Can you talk about that?
In the state of love and acceptance, you are in that moment viewing yourself from the perspective of your inner self. The difference is negligible when you are in love and acceptance. This love and acceptance is the understanding that you are not a victim, that you are possibly the creator, that you need nothing from your reality. When you begin to see that you need nothing from your reality, the ideas of compassion and kindness will come to your mind, and you will begin to see that any situation and any person, anything, that you do not need something from them, that you can simply give something to them. You have what you need. This love and acceptance, this moment of accepting that what you are seeing in your reality is perfect for you in this moment. We explained to Christy some time ago that accepting this and understanding the perfection of this moment and of everything that she was seeing and of everyone that she was interacting with in the moment did not mean that she was excited about it, that she liked it, or that she even approved of it, but that she understood that it was perfect for her in this moment. This beginning to accept this is where we create our reality. This moment of acceptance that now, how I see this now is creating my reality. It is not about creating some future moment that I will like better than this, that I will prefer, that will make me feel better. There is no moment other than this one. I do not have power in the future. I have power now, in this moment, to see everything that I am looking at as perfect for me. In the moments where we function and operate in fear and control, this is the moment where we let the doubt that we are the creator, that we let this doubt that we are magnificent, this belief that we are not limitless, that we are limited, this fear and control is simply operating from that perspective. And there is very little that one can do in that moment other than to stop and recognize that this is fear. This is control. This is me being a victim. This is me believing I am a victim. And in that moment of fear and control, to simply recognize that you are operating in fear and control is all you need to do. This idea that there is some control you must have on yourself to not operate in fear and control, to berate yourself for being in fear and beginning to act on an urge, to think about act on an urge. This moment of beating yourself up and saying, this is wrong and this is bad, this is simply more fear and control. But to be in that moment and recognize that this is where you are and it is okay. And it is part of the system. It is part of the plan. It is part of what you designed. And you can breathe. We tell Christy this all of the time. Simply stop and breathe. This breath that you have is your connection with your inner self. It is your connection with the non-physical. To stop and breathe and say, I am in fear and control. I am operating in fear and control. I have encountered something that has brought up fear. What is happening? I am just here. And I know that this will pass. I know who I am. I believe that it is possible for me, that I am the creator, that I am not a victim, that I am love, that I am magnificent. And in this moment of focusing on that breath and recognizing that it is okay to be here, but that it is possible to move from here into love and acceptance. Just this is all that it takes. It is not as hard as you make it.
Seems like the more we practice this idea of acceptance, when it's not such a big thing, it's like we're exercising a muscle of acceptance.
This is what we were speaking of with Andre, that this time that many of you have spent on this planet operating from fear and control and holding yourself at a vibrational set point, at a perspective on who you are in this reality. This becomes something of a habit. This is a point of normal for you. This is where you are. And as you move and you attract more and more thoughts in this resistant state, in this state of fear and control, this set point is simply weighted. It is heavier. This is where you are. As you practice and then learn to move to this slightly higher perspective, it is not necessary to go from this deep fear and control all the way to the perspective that is us. This is not necessary. Just this slight move then, and this practice of lifting this new weight and holding it here is exactly as you say. It is a muscle. It is a practice. This is never done in a instant in this way. It is a practice. You are moving through it. You are recognizing when you have a perspective that is laced in that fear and control and beginning to move it slightly to a place where you can believe it. This feeling, this anchoring this emotion into it. This is where you develop this muscle and you can hold this perspective a bit longer. And yet you drop to the other perspective a moment later, an hour later, and continue to compound that by berating yourself for doing it. The first time you hold this weight, you cannot hold it for very long. No one can. It is just fine. You have reached a new perspective and you have added those thoughts to your vibration. You have created something entirely new just there. We were explaining to Christy in discussions that this move in perspective, no matter how far it is powerful. This is the energy. This is where it is created. The holding of it comes with practice. It is beneficial to learn to move this perspective in every area of your life because your area is intertwined. This entire circle is all woven together. And as you move each perspective, doing it evenly throughout just brings more peace and joy and makes it a bit easier to hold all of the others. They support one another. Does this make sense to you?
Well, in many cases it does, but then we all have this belief or this thing that seems like is actually a fact about ourselves. And we think, well, if this was different than it was, then our lives would be better than it was. And a great example of that is my eyebrows. If I had better eyebrows, I would have been much more successful in life.
And yet we play and you know that this is simply an illusion. These eyebrows of yours have become something that you can discuss. They make you unique. And it is something that you can bond with others. Your friends tease you about this. Christy has teased you for years about these eyebrows, and it has been a point of fun and laughter and humor. And this is the reason for it. It is also a part of who you truly are, a part of your origin consciousness to be something that represents something that is quite opposite of this, and have fun in that discovery. This is certainly, from your perspective, not something that would make your life better. And these things that you all believe about yourselves that are facts, this is the design. This is this powerful illusion. And it is thrilling that it works so well. We are thrilled that it works. It is magnificent. This idea that this belief cannot be proven false, because it is true. And this is something that Christy says to us now, at least on a weekly basis. She says, I cannot get there from here. There is no way to get there from here. This cannot be false because it is true. I have proof, I have evidence and experience after experience that tells me it is true. And she will dig in until we agree. When we agree that, yes, she is right, it is true, then she begins to get angry and say that we are now lying. And in this moment, it is a bit of reverse psychology. She can begin to prove it false. And this is the case with all of you. If you hear yourself in that moment say, I cannot prove this false, this is true, then allow your inner self to speak to you and say, yes, you are right. You are the one person on the planet who has one limitation. It is you. You are the one. And feel the absurdity in this, and feel the humor in this, and know that you can find evidence that it is false. There are always those things that you believe are true. And as you raise your perspective on yourself, you will find them. It is endless. It is limitless. This is the nature of the game. But you will always be able to prove that it is not true. It is an illusion. You are not limited in any way.
You said something interesting about how wonderful and intense this illusion is. Are there realities where the illusion is not so strong?
There are realities where the illusion is not so intense. And what we mean by that is there are realities where the consciousness is not as separate, not feeling as separated from one another, from us, from inner selves in any way. And the fear then does not exist. The illusion is strong in that it is generating creation with curiosity and interest and excitement. But there is no hope or wish. There is no despair. There is no fear in that sense. And then there is no belief in true limitation. This understanding that there is oneness here, that we are together and we always share the highest perspective. This ease of moving to the highest perspective in the group is a bit of a lazy river, if you will. It is not intense in any way. It is fun. It is an experience. It is many experiences, but the reaching for the higher perspective is easy. There is no separation. There is no idea of separation. There is an understanding of physical reality and a feeling of some separation from source energy from that, but the understanding of oneness within creates an ease with that, and an ease in changing perspective that is for you and those of you that are exploring in this way would be light and possibly not exciting enough for you. Do you understand this?
I do, which tends to go to the idea that we are intrepid explorers here, all of us.
This is something you have been told for quite some time, and it is true. The bravery that you exhibit in doing this is extraordinary, and it is honored from where we are. We love you more than you can imagine for this rapid expansion that is happening is because of you and your experience and your willingness to forget completely who you are. This is why we are here. This is why Joshua is here, and Abraham and many others that are consistently telling you, you are the bravest of the brave.
Great. Does anyone have a question in this area or any other topic?
I do. Oh,
Go ahead, Pamela.
White Light, I have a question that I've just came up recently in my own mind about the difference between acceptance and apathy. I'm dealing with a cash flow issue with my business. And in fully embracing these teachings, I have found myself lacking fear surrounding it and definitely having curiosity as to where this is leading, knowing that it is for me. So trying to hold on to that curiosity of where this is going. But then something occurred to me the other day, and I don't know if this is fear coming up to say, wait, am I being apathetic more than anything? Or is this actually acceptance?
We believe in that moment, that question was a bit of your ego trying to keep you alive, which is wonderful. And it is needed. It is necessary. It is part of this physical reality. What you can begin to understand is that the shift that you have made, this beginning to acknowledge and understand that there is more to you than you previously thought, that there is more going on here than you thought, and beginning to practice this and to go inside. It is taking your attention off of this distraction that is money and causing you to look in a direction of choosing perspective, not because of money, but because of your perspective on the perceived choices that you have. This moment of feeling curiosity about where this is going, and that curiosity not being connected to the money is confusing for you at first to recognize that you have made this kind of shift in your perspective. Curiosity does not equal apathy. They are quite the opposite, are they not? If
Yes.
you are feeling curious about where this is going, what the next steps are for you, what is going to show up, what you are going to bring to yourself to move through, this is joy. This is beginning to understand that you can move through anything in joy. You are representing for this group and for the world, millions that will listen to this after this, that you can experience an issue within your business that would appear to threaten your livelihood, your ability to take care of yourself, to continue something that was a dream, whatever it is that is tied to a business for anyone, and to experience an issue with the finances of this business and experience it in curiosity. Do you not see the beauty in this perspective? This is not apathy. This is joy. This is knowing who you are, and this is perfect. This is how you can experience anything in joy. The money does not matter. It cannot affect you. You are limitless. You have everything you need to do everything you need to do, and you are beginning to know this, to feel it, and to hold that perspective, to continue in curiosity and interest, as if to say, what is going to happen next in this movie that I wrote? And how high will I be able to get? How high can I get to see this next experience the way my inner self is seeing it as it unfolds? This is your power. The energy is in the movement from one perspective to a slightly higher perspective. Everything follows within that energy. The money and all of the other things that are not important will follow behind this shift in perspective, because this vortex of energy is created when you change your perspective. You have done that by seeing this in curiosity. You will continue to do that as it unfolds. There is no apathy here. There is no apathy anywhere within your vibration. It is neutral. It is joy. Joy is curiosity and interest and excitement and love. It is many things. Curiosity is just one. Do you understand?
I do understand. And I think the thing that's been tripping me up is the fact that have been telling myself to be open to inspiration based on this development in my business. And I don't feel like any has come in. So then I started thinking, am I incorrect in my interpretation of what I'm feeling? So
You are not incorrect in your interpretation of how you feel. When you are within yourself and you look deep within, the inspiration that is coming to you is coming, but you are not hearing it, simply because in this curiosity and this new perspective you have gained, you still have a bit of an ideal, and there is still a belief or two that you are not capable of what you are capable of. This is just hanging around a bit, and you know what to do with it. And this is what blocks the inspiration. The inspiration can come, and because it does not seem to answer these beliefs or fall within the ideal, then you do not hear it clearly. But you can begin to, now that you have asked this question, and you can listen to this later and begin to understand what is happening. These little things that say you are not capable, that you are not powerful, that you cannot do this are simply illusions, and they are thoughts that you have attracted over and over and over again because of your perspective on yourself. You simply shift that perspective as you are doing, and the other thoughts become available to you, that you can do this, and possibly there is something else that you can do, and possibly there is something that would be more interesting, and maybe it would be better if this wasn't here and I had more time to do something else. Now these thoughts are starting to come, are they not? And those thoughts that come, you can hold that perspective for a bit and then drop back down to the others, and that is perfectly fine. Find this again, you know this vibration, you know it well, you stay there. And you hold it, and you let those thoughts become a part of you. You feel that, let it become who you are. And from there, you will hear more and more and more of the inspiration that is coming to you. But do not negate it because it appears to lead to something silly or something frivolous or something that would be self-indulgent or would lead you the opposite direction of where you believe you should go. Just simply follow it. There is nothing bad that can happen. You are perfect and you are safe and you are limitless, and you are beginning to see that. And from seeing that, you will experience it.
thank you.
Yes.
Who's next?
I had a question. So I'm wondering how to keep my higher perspective when I'm surrounded by people who are like pulling me down. So I did the exercise today and I was feeling good. And then I went and I saw my husband and he said something mean or nasty, or he was just being his grumpy self. So it's hard to hold on to the elevated perspective when I'm surrounded, which makes me want to go and fix him or fix my mother or fix all of these other people.
Yes. Yes. This is common. This is everyone. This is all of you. This is Christy. This is everyone. This moment where you begin to acknowledge who you are and that this idea is possible for you. These things that you bring to your experience, these things that you have set up are simply there to give you practice. Do not think that it is any more than that. It is just a moment for you to practice. Can I behave? Can I operate from this new perspective? Can I react to this in love and acceptance? Or will I go back into fear and control, which is perfectly fine? There is nothing for you to do that you must do. This is just finding your power in your ability to say, now, why has this come? Why is he being rude to me? Why is he being nasty to me? It is for me. He is doing this for me. He has experienced everything that he has experienced in his life, and I know the pain of some of it. I know the ups and the downs that this person has gone through, and I love them so much for that. Now, can I see that in this moment, he has done all of that for this moment to show me that I can operate in love and acceptance rather than in fear, that I can feel better, that I can see more of who I truly am, that I can find a belief that is limiting me. He lived his entire life, every moment for this moment, just for me. And when you do that, you will drop to your knees in love and appreciation. It will be more than acceptance. This you can do when your mother, your coworker, another driver does something that you feel is a condition that will make you go to a place that you do not wish to go. You have the power to change your perspective on that and say, yes, there you are. You are there to show me that I don't need to drop, that I do not need to let this condition that is you change how I feel. And I can practice this. Thank you for letting me practice this. This is acceptance. This is greater than acceptance. Do you understand?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to acknowledge that Christy has recognized her computer is beginning to die, and she is very uncomfortable behind here. And we would like to say that we know you and we love you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thanks. That was great.
Oh my gosh, my computer is like on 2%. I'm freaking out going, guys, do you see this? My computer's gonna die. Totally ignoring me.
Yeah, we would have gone on forever.
Ah,
Well, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll make that Joshua Live podcast and send that to you as soon as we're done. We'll probably have that up and running tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, thanks again for being here and all your wonderful
Thank you very
questions.
much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Bye, everybody. I love
Thanks, guys.
you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.